Are you there? Yeah, hey, wood turners. I'm Captain Eddie Castle and welcome to my shop. Today we're going to pull an old project out of the bag. We did this a while back and a major manufacturer called me and said, hey, you know, you're going to cost the jobs of a lot of people because you're showing something that we make and we don't think you should show people how to build it. So I went along with him. He was a nice guy. He made an argument. Had a good argument, but he made an argument. But I really wasn't cool with it at all. And you weren't either because you keep asking me what happened to that video. So today, we're going to make the self-powered sander all over again. In both the angled version and the straight version. That's right. This is a really simple project to build, but a real time saver and a real money saver too if you do it yourself. Alright, so if you are ready to learn and get underway and save some money, all you gotta do, watch. This is a rather simple project. I'll get a close-up and show you some of the details. We're talking about a handle, just a handle you can grab. Don't lock into the length because you can make several different lengths and get a little versatility so you reach way down deep inside. How did Marbell say? Reach out and touch someone. And you can do it on an angle on the side of a bowl or straight in to do the bottom of a bowl. Now, it takes a block of wood. Alright. Then, once we have the block of wood still in a square state, this is a square state, we're going to about 1.5 inches down from the top. We're going to drill an angled hole. This hole is on about a 45-degree angle. See that? Okay. I said about a 45-degree angle. Don't get anal on me, okay? Drill one here. Now, on the other end, we're going to drill a hole 90 degrees to the handle. That's just straight, okay? Now, the critical part of this hole on the angle is that it is dead center of the blank, or as close as you can. But that is going to become the center of the blank because once you've drilled that hole, you're going to carry that line right across the end like that, and that's going to be the center this way, and then I'll center up the other. Now, that's the blank. Like I said, if you want a longer one with a different feel of a handle or whatever, make a simple one first, play with it a little bit, and decide how you want to modify it. It's not expensive to build, and remember, it's all turning practice. You ready? Now we got to turn. No. First, we got to find the remote. To explain what we're doing, I have a stibe center, I have a rotating cone. That's all the gear on a lathe. I'm going to put this center onto my stibe center, this hole onto my rotating cone. Got it? Oh, by the way, that hole you drilled and that hole you drilled were 3/8 of an inch deep. I used a Forstner bit because while it was on my drill press on an angle and coming down, a regular bit would skate. A brad point would dig in. I didn't have a good sharp 3/8 brad point, but a Forstner would dig on the shoulder and make that cut. And I had to do it square because it's real hard to hold the round piece and get it into the center. So I took that mystery out of it. Onto the stibe center, bring up my revolving center, snug it up in place. I'm going to roll this at about 1,000 RPMs, and I am going to go in and cut this with my roughing gouge to start with. Just knock some corners off. This is a piece of what is this? Looks like Spanish cedar. It could be. Just knock some corners down. feel them all right. I'm going to spin. This is my R2 on the bar. Notice it doesn't sit all the way back into the seat. The seat was there just to flatten the bar out and make sure it's a good spot to drill. It doesn't have to. I'll put a little drop of glue under it to hold it round. Hold it square. The R2 is really good for moving back and forth on a piece. I want to show you why. Because it doesn't cut just on the corners, it cuts on the face. We're round. Once you get round, you want to decide how big you want this thing. So find one of your handles in the shop you're comfortable with for holding onto for a while and say, okay, that's how I want it to feel. And that'll be the diameter that you're targeting. So the overall diameter is about right. I need to be about a 1/4 inch smaller in the center. And again, I'll just take my R2. Bring speed up a little bit more, make it smoother cutting. Keep in mind that this piece is used in two different planes, two different directions. So one is up here, see it, and one's down here. So I really have two knobs on this handle. So I'm shaped. That 3 minutes of turning pretty much got my handle where I want to be. I'm going to round off these corners and get the top and bottom about right. That'd be about the top. Now I don't want to leave that sharp corner there. And then over here on the other end, I'll keep moving you till I get you in a good position where you can understand what's happening. There we are. On the other end, I'm going to want my piece to end. That'll be the useful end of it. I don't want it to stick too much further past the end than that, or I have to mouse it off. So I'll shape that up a little bit. That is so easy cutting, isn't it? I'm just about there. I want to be about 1/8 of an inch closer to that hole. So I'll take that off on a little bit of an angle. And by the way, let me see if I can get you in the right spot. Nope, I think I'm out of reach. What I wanted to show you, and now I have you in the right spot, That R2 cutter, I could also cut on the side. Do a little fine scraping action. Now when I do that, I roll up on this bottom shoulder of the tool. Go back out and make some light passes. You may not believe it, this piece is ready to sand out. I've done a little light sanding on it, and I'm going to smear a good coat of Deft sanding sealer. It just seals the wood down, gives me a good base for any other finish I'd wish to put on it. I cut this 50-50, and I did say Deft because this is a lacquer based sanding sealer instead of a latex based one. I think it's very much like the old DeVoe Wonder Wood sealer I came up with when I was in the cabinet shops, and that was an awesome product. After the seal is set up, I buff it off using one of these Scotch-Brite type pads. I get these at Vince's Wooden Wonders, and here's a secret. It comes with a cloth backing that'll make it Velcro reactive, so you can put it on your pad. But after you've gummed it up and got it all full of sealer and it's clogged up and you don't think you can use it, put it in your workshop jacket pocket and run it through the washing machine. Yeah, but don't tell Vince I said to do that. This is brushing lacquer by Deft, cut 50-50. What do I mean? I put 3 ounces in this container and I add 3 ounces of lacquer thinner, and that, boys and girls, is 50-50. We're going to take it off the lathe. To remove this, I'm going to use my parting tool, and I'm going to go right up here. Let me see if I can get you in a better position to see that. I'm going to go right in, and hold the piece. That's it. Now I'll go ahead and knock that off with a sharp knife or on my sander, and I'm ready to assemble. To assemble, I'm going to take one of my ball bearing kits. This is the sander bearing kit, and I sell these on my website. I'll give you the bushing and one magnetic ball bearing. Now, here's what happens. The ball bearing goes down at the bottom of the hole. That's the spinner. The bushing goes over the top of it. But you have to determine if you have the hole deep enough now. So I want this bushing to be about a 1/4 inch proud of that surface. So when I do that and look at this, the hole I have drilled is the same depth as my bushing. Yeah, that's my calculated measuring device, and they match up, right? Okay, now what I do is drop the bushing in the hole, then I'll put the ball bearing on the ball bearing in the hole, put the bushing on top of it, and then boom, it's in. That is the angled one. Now, what's that do? Listen. you know it'd be quiet. Most of the time they make the click. But that ball bearing, being magnetic, is holding the pad in. So now the pad spins freely. It's held into a bushing. Ball bearing on the bottom keeps it from popping out. And it will if you're inside of a bowl and you twist it wrong or turn it over and it catches, it'll pop out. So with that, it won't pop out. Now you take the other set, the other bearing, you drop it in this hole. If you've checked the length, you put it in there and you end up with a double-ended piece. That'll give you your angled sander. When you turn around and put a bush again, you end up a straight one. You can go into the bottom of the bowl. It's like this one. You go into the bottom of the bowl on a flat, across the face of a platter, on the outside of a bowl. It's a very economical way to power sand without power sanding. What happens is, when you make contact here, and you make contact in either at 7:30 on the clock or 4:30 on the clock, it cuts here and sweeps around, so you get a swirl action. It's good for the rough sanding of a piece and bringing it down to maybe 400 grit, and then you go in and take the brush marks out side to side. Remember to run through all your grit, all your steps. Don't shortcut, and never start too high, because marks are marks, and they're in there, and they're in there. Okay, now, that is the basic package. You know I'm not done, don't you? All right. I'm going to put a tag on the end of this to show you a little bit more you can do to a package. But first, I got to say, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. We've been making shavings. If you want more information about the bearing kits, check my products and services page on my website right here, www.eddiecastellan.com. Products and services. You'll find the bearings. The bearing kits are a sleeve and the magnetic ball bearing, or a spherical magnet if you wish. Got it? Got it. Stick around. I got more right after this. Good cut. Hey wood turners, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. Will you join me in my shop for all little projects? Sometimes you'll see me using one of my Carbide tools, but a lot of times you'll see me using the right tool for the right job. Now these are handy. They really are. And if you're sharp and challenged, this is the way to go. If you've got difficult projects, this is the way to go. If you've got problems working other tools, way to go. But that's not the answer all. It's not the know-all, cure-all, save-all. It's just another tool. Big Eye Productions has got the best prices anywhere on those Carbide tools and cutters. They're not pretty. They weren't made to be pretty. They're made to be tools. So if you're interested, check out my website, www.eddiecastellan.com, for the best prices on Carbide cutting tips anywhere on this planet. www.eddiecastellan.com. Oh, and by the way, our Black Hawk sharpening rig runs with the big dogs at almost half the price. And let me tell you something. We have features they are only thinking about. Check it out. See you later. I didn't think that guy'd ever shut up. Okay, a while back, I showed you how to create something else in a similar fashion, and I called it a decorating gizmo. Actually, I had a different name for it, but somebody else asked me to stop making it. But you're relentless. You saw it one time and you want it again, and all right, here it is. You can take a 1/4-inch burr. That's what a burr is. You see it? It's a 1/4-inch burr. You can take a 1/4-inch burr and put it into something that'll spin it, and press this against the spinning wood, and you will get some detailing, like embellishing, sort of like controlled chatter with a pattern. It's real simple to do. There's probably 30-40 videos out there on how to do it, but they all use a fairly expensive gizmo. Well, here's the deal. These burrs are available at Grizzly Tool Company. They're also available through Hanson in your Ace Hardware store. Single cut burr. Not a double cut. Double cut, no good. Single cut burr. You got the burr. Now, we're going to have to modify the handle a little bit. Let me show you what we're going to do. This is the handle. Now, this will also work for spinning my pad. See that? All right. But what I did was I countersunk a 1/4 inch ball bearing that I picked up at the local hardware store. I went down and found this bearing in that big display that's got all the little drawers in it, and they had bearings, and I think this was for a sliding door hardware. The bearing had a little plastic race around it. I took that off. 1/4 inch is a critical part because your 1/4 inch burr has to fit in there. Now, under the bearing is another one of those 1/4 inch bronze sleeves. At the bottom of the bronze sleeve is another one of those magnetic bearings. Now, when you put this in, it rides again on the bottom. It spins on that spherical magnet. But there's no resistance around the crown because of the ball bearing. Now, this is a compression nut. Is it? Yeah, compression nut from the hardware, from the plumbing section I used to decorate the end of it. Now, it's pretty simple to put that in there. Countersink the ball bearing. Don't drill through it, but you need a 3/8 hole directly underneath it, so use the center as the center. And then make sure the depths all work out. You may want to lay all this on a piece of paper and draw it out firsthand. That'll give you a working part.